Hello, my friends. I'm Sam Hardesty, a certified life coach, and welcome to the Authentic Entrepreneur Podcast. Howdy, friends. I'm so excited for today's episode. We have the one, the only Jaime Kravitz with The Energy Producer. She is 100% absolutely fabulous, Sam certified. Jaime not only is a dear friend of mine, but she is just on top of her game, literally. So The Energy Producer is Northeast Ohio's women-owned and operated event entertainment company. Specializing as a professional master of ceremonies, DJ, uplighting, and extra entertainment provider, Jaime Kravitz offers custom event solutions that guarantee to energize and enhance the guest and client experience. Kravitz thrives with a microphone in her hand and is recognized locally as a public speaker, moderator, and creator of women's events. When Jaime's not running the show and sound for nonprofit fundraisers and corporate events, you'll find her filling the gaps for women in the wedding entertainment. So the Energy Producer is on a mission to hear, see, and hype each client up, to advocate for their visions, to amplify the energy, engagement, and memorability, and to give back by empowering and mentoring the next generation. Kravitz believes everyone deserves a hype woman, and she is so much more than just that. Jaime is a woman that you want to always just spend your time with. Not only like when you have a conversation with her, you'll learn so much about, I don't know, whatever fun fact is on the mind, but you will also just learn so much about the industry and how to put on such an incredible event, and just really taking a step back in saying, how can we just put so much more into this energetically? And oh my gosh, she just brings all the visions to life, and I'm so excited. So in this episode, we go deep, guys. So if there's something that like comes up with you guys and you're like, oh my gosh, I so can relate, let us know. For sure, follow Jaime on Instagram, on social media. She always has so much fun content to follow. But yeah, I hope you guys have fun. All right. Hey, Jaime, how's it going?
Hey, Sam, everything's fantastic. How are you?
Yay, awesome. I'm so excited for today's conversation. I have so many juicy questions, and I'm really excited for all the wisdom that you are going to provide to everyone. So this is going to be so fun.
The juice is loose. I mean, we're gonna loosen on the juicing. Let's go.
I love it so much. Okay, so I'm just gonna open the floor with you. Tell us more about you, who you are, what you do, why you got into it, all the things.
Amazing. Yes, I'm Jaime Kravitz. I'm the owner and operator of the Energy Producer, which is Northeast Ohio's women-owned and operated entertainment company. So, as a professional master of ceremonies, that's really where I started and where my love of the microphone, I mean, that began as a child. So I really am living my childhood dreams that I couldn't have dreamt up of. And so that microphone work is where my heart is. And then I realized while working with other entertainment companies that I needed to be able to bring the other component and that music side. So there became the DJ and the self learning and observing and mentorships. And everything else is blown up from there because I was able to learn like how to create experiential events through my past jobs and all of these wild careers, this amazing winding journey. I have learned so much. The service industry really made me who I am when it comes to serving and being a servant. You know, in the positive, that is, it's really it's a gift. Like I love to give, and honestly, the universe is just like, okay, well, let me gift that back tenfold. It truly is that old quote is. is amazing this year for me. I'm really having a great reflection on. So
I love
with
it.
music curation and DJing, from weddings to those corporate events that need they need energy. I think we're realizing, I'm talking with a lot of venues lately, and they're like, girl, I forgot about you. Like, we need you because the CEO is typically not a performer because their job is to run that company. And they need
Mhm.
someone to run the show. You should be able to enjoy your event that you're paying for as a CEO and owner. And you have more impact with your
Mhm.
people. So let someone run the show. Let me crack the jokes. Let me warm up the crowd. Let me help get the energy going where it needs to go. If it's serious, let me make it serious. Let's preach. But I love that my job is different every single day. It's problem solving and putting on different hats because I get to represent my clients and their sponsors or whomever, and that allows me to play different roles within myself. I don't have to be different characters like I was when I worked for Disney. If we
Mhm.
get into that, I don't have these crazy voices and different names, right? But I'm representing them, and I can chameleon myself, and I enjoy that bit of acting performance.
That sounds so fun. I'm so excited. We're gonna chat some more about all the things. So I
I'm doing
love
the
it.
Carlton dance if
I
you
know.
just want to
Yeah.
let you know.
Okay, so we need to know, what is one of your top songs that you like personally, but others think is a little weird or silly or just weird, like off the charts?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's a good question. I just have to go with most recent because every event I'm in a different headspace and a different list of Ace of Base I was just at a House of Blues and I was like, girl, this is for you. And then I was like, I am projecting my Ace of Base. I saw the sign memories. I literally was picturing myself as a kid roller skating at United Skates of America, and so I realized I was putting that on her because she was like, yeah, cool. I just got excited and wanted to give her love, but the opposite of that though is I do have clients and I make a joke. This is good. I make a joke all the time with
Yeah.
wedding clients specifically. Like, we're going over, this is the do not play song list section.
Yeah.
And if you think that I am the DJ that's like chicken dancing every single wedding, like, you're wrong. Like, that's not the vibe. I used to love being at the mitzvahs and line dancing, but now as this grown woman, I think that they take up too much time of your damn set. Like, why lose eight
Mhm,
whole
mhm.
minutes of dancing when you can have like five songs, right? So for me,
True,
it's
true,
just
true.
my style. But I have had clients go, wait a minute, like, chicken dance is very important in my family and it has to be played. And then I have to recover myself. I'm like, of course, and yes,
Yeah.
I will sing the chicken dance for you because I love that for you. I just want you to know, like,
Yeah.
don't give me a whole list of those cheesy songs because we've grown out of that.
We need options. Yeah, I love it.
We
Oh,
we
that's
we want to please the crowd.
yes. Yeah. I love it. Okay, so that kind of leads me to my next question. So, what is a masters of ceremonies? What does that mean? Do you have to have like certain qualifications to be one?
Good question. Honestly, you know what? Just give me an idea. Maybe you should. Honestly, actually, you help me identify another gap here. Maybe there should be a course that I create because, ooh, yes, there is a difference. There's a difference when there's a DJ company, and then there's companies that provide DJs and MCs, and there's other companies that just you have a DJ, right? And it's like that DJ. Typically, no, I didn't start as the DJ, so I have this privilege of like I have honed this microphone master of ceremony skills all this time, but a lot of DJs, they're just the music people. Like, they were the kids mixing and making their CDs and mixtapes and like, more introverted sometimes, right? And so
Mhm.
then they're like, "Oh, you want me to get on a microphone and be this boy, this showman or showwoman?" That's hard. But the other way
Mhm.
around, I feel like I got it easy because I think the harder part is emceeing. I think
Oh,
DJing, it could be as hard as you want it to be. I mean, there's endless
Sure.
amount for me to learn. And I'm excited to like be able to invest in that in these coming years of like continually getting better and better. Like you can just keep getting better and better.
Right.
Same with emceeing, but like you need to have a little bit of that je ne sais quoi, that gift. So let's go back to the original question because I just took us on a whole journey around the bush.
Oh.
Master of ceremonies is really like, think of like the ringleader at a circus, right? A circus needs a showman, right? Because you have all of these things going on, but you need someone to bring it all together and run the show. That is really what we're doing. And it's someone that is like gifted on the microphone and is able to really control the energy of the space, but also like command the room. Listen, I used to be a teacher and it's kind of funny. I feel like emceeing is the same thing, but it's just a little bit different, right? So as a teacher, I had to command a room of children, and there's times where I needed to get the attention of the room. Happens all the time, every day, right? Now I'm just in a room with children who are a little more grown or a lot more grown, and they legally can take in substances. It's literally like these kids have so much energy. It's the same thing, right? So it's like wrangling cats, right? You know, drunk adults are just like little kids. And at the end of the day, I'm not speaking to them like they're kids. But if you can run a
100%.
classroom, like I swear on my life, I've run into so many teachers. They're like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." I was like, "You could do this!" Like I just want to like all these women teachers out there, and I'm like, this could be something for you for real, real. Because like
Yeah.
teaching is harder. I'm gonna say it right now. My job is way freaking easier than it used to be.
Yeah.
Like my life is so much easier and less stressful. It's banana sauce. So respect your teachers out there. I still love it. I still love it, but I get that teacher pleasing feeling from this career. All right. So yes,
Mhm.
your job is to run the show, but there's MCs that can just take a timeline and run a show, but like what I like to do is actually curate the whole thing. I love the process from beginning to end. And I think that's what really pushed me saying you have to do your own business because you're getting tired of just being the performer. And I wanted to be part of that creative solution of like, okay, oh, well, maybe the cake cutting this is not a good time for that. Actually,
Mhm.
this needs to be before because you don't know that has to be cut during dinner time. Like there's things that in service industry and just experience that I can be
Right.
like, wait a minute, something's not right here. I want to be part of the whole thing so that actually there are none of those problems later on. It's just we're
Mhm.
planning the day and we're planning the day, the event your way. What is the most important thing? What is our purpose as an
Mhm.
MC, right? That's the biggest question I throw at someone right away. What is the end goal? Every event is different. Beer
Yeah.
Fest event is a very different goal than American Heart Association's event. That's very
Mhm.
different than Sarah's wedding. So what is most important to you at a wedding? Do you
Mhm.
want them to remember what things do you want them to remember, right? It's the vibe. People remember the vibe and the fun. They remember
Mhm.
if the food was good. They remember if there was ambiance. I can help create ambiance with extra things like lighting, uplighting, neon signs,
Mhm.
games, right? Make it immersive. But I am talking all around these questions. I get so excited. I'm in my own wormhole here. A master of ceremonies is someone who can professionally run that show on a microphone and guide, connect those dots. They are dot connectors. So a good MC can do all of that. A regular MC is going to say the things that need to be said on the microphone with or without enthusiasm. And I've seen it a lot. I've seen it a
Mhm.
lot. And you've been to the wedding where welcome the bride and groom. Where's your like what this is supposed to be the biggest moment of their like day. Like make them feel
Yeah.
like Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Like what? Make it
Right?
feel like a Cavs game. Like that's what people remember. It's like, whoa, this who's that? Right?
Mm. I love that.
I don't want to take away I just want people to remember that they had the best dang time of their lives or they felt seen, a more serious event, they feel seen. I played their song requests and shouted them out or spoken to the mission. It's all about my clients being seen and heard, and that's what an MC does. But I realize now MCing is a piece of what I do, but there is so much more to it once I dig in.
For sure. And it's so interesting, like, as you're even speaking into all of this now, like, so for the listeners, like, and I think most people know by now that I am, also, like, my husband and I own another business. We do wedding photography and videography. So like technically Jamie and I met at a wedding. Like I was the videographer
Oh,
that day. She was like doing her thing. And I just remember being like, who is this woman? Like she was just spicing it up. And like we had been doing it for a few years. Not one time had I had such like uh feeling toward like the people who were emceeing and DJing, like I didn't even know there was a difference of that until like you
mm,
showed like this is how it could be ran. And I'm like, holy hell, like that is legit. So it was really like so cool, and now we get to occasionally work together on weddings, which is super fun. But
and
yeah,
talk
no,
all about entrepreneurship. Like, and
oh,
we get to just vibe out on and
all the
see
time.
each other in these amazing combos on the side.
There,
Like,
there's we yeah, it's all the things. But yeah, it's really, I think a lot of people when they think of a DJ, they think, oh, they just play music. But
I could make
like
a Spotify playlist for my
100%.
wedding and put. You can if it's a backyard barbecue. Very, you can. You can, but
Yes.
it's not the same at all.
It's there, you learn when you get, y'all need to get an event hosted by Jamie. You see the difference and you'll never go back. That's the vibe we're going for. So
Girl, thank
okay.
you.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, so what are a few defining moments in your life that got you to where you are now?
Woo! Sheesh. I've got a lot. I've got a lot. I feel like you probably don't need to go into them so much, but just like hitting on them.
Yes, all the things.
Beautiful. Love it. Hey, I got to get some clarity because listen, y'all, like I did a whole like 30-minute summit presentation on the journey, and it highlighted like these big pieces and ups and downs and highs and lows are what made me, right? So we talk about
Yes.
service industry, like having that past, huge and helpful, like very helpful work experience. If there's any like teens out there, like listen, if you just need some money, you don't know what, do something in the service industry, waiting tables. I mean, yeah, it's grueling. Listen, I have scrubbed toilets for work more recently than I'd like to admit within
Mhm.
the past 7 years. For real, y'all. Like
I
it's
feel it.
you can never, and I know this is not even where we're going on this question right now, but like you can never be too good for a job. I will still clean a toilet. I clean my own
Mhm.
toilet. If I had to clean a toilet in my own office, I would do it.
Mhm. Mhm. I feel that.
You can
Yep.
never be above a job. Okay. So big pivotal moments. Um, I think the first big shift, of course, I thought I was going to be a teacher for the long run. It's what made sense. It was safe. I'm following what the world has told me. I'm following what my parents have told me from their experience. You do great in school and you get the job with the insurance and all the safety things. But then I was like, I knew teachers were paid low, but like I didn't think it was this low, right? And then I
Mm.
really brainwashed myself to believe like I am of service and I will
Mhm.
never have wealth. I will remain comfortable and live under my means, but I will never have wealth. So it's
Mhm.
amazing now to have these big, dreamy, lofty dreams and desires and bringing them to fruition. So these big moments that happened, I would say a pivotal moment was working for Disney Cruise Line, which I kind of jumped on there. I was between kind of jobs down in the mountains of North Carolina. And I said, if I'm going to be a teacher full time and do this the rest of my life, I'm going to be doing this for like 70 years at the same school and I'm never going to be leaving because that's what that's the dream as a teacher in some ways. But to
Yeah.
my body, I'm like, guys, I'm trapped, right? Like, oh, that's too much.
Mhm.
Let me go explore and do and have adventure and fun. Let me get it out of my system.
Mm. Mhm.
A little hint, I don't think you can ever get something that's innately you out of your system, but I think I was conditioned to believe I could get adventure, travel, excitement. I could do it, and then I'm good for the rest of my life. That's banana sauce. I'm making it
Yeah.
up for you.
Yeah.
Banana sauce is the new phrase.
Yep.
So
Love it.
I was a shoe in there. I'm a teacher. Let me get on the cruise. I might as well just do it. If I'm going to do it, let me do it for the best. I'm not even a big Disney person. As a child, I did not believe in really the Disney magic. I think my mom took me to Disney and I basically insulted Goofy or Pluto to his face. And, small child, I was like, picture. And I'm like, I'm not taking a picture with some dude in a suit. What the heck happened to, like, what? And now here I was, a grown adult, hanging out with the characters and like getting excited and like selfieing, like having moments with them. Disney Cruise Line was amazing. It was like going back to college, but the beauty of it was really the training. I mean, really, they have
Mm.
4 pillars that are just amazing. If you dive into it, it's probably a little different on the ships compared to the parks. But, safety is number one at all times. And that's been something that's been consistent in a lot of my jobs. But then, like, show is like next. Show is huge. And there's this really cool, it's interesting when you are behind the scenes, you were seeing this stripped ship. They're not making crew quarters pretty. Why would we're going to invest all the money on the guest experience. The guests are spending a lot of money for this, and they're investing in this. So crew quarters, I mean, you are seeing pipes and I mean, it's really cool and very
Oh, wow.
industrial. Yeah. And it's literally, then you have a door. I mean, you're seeing just raw walls. And then you have this door and a reminder on that door, you are about to go out on stage.
Mm.
You realize that reminder, turn it on. I don't care what just happened back here, but you are on stage and there may be a little pirate or a little princess that needs a little greeting. There may need a guest that needs something immediately once you walk out that door, and you better do it with a smile on your face and with magic. No
Mm.
matter what's going on in your world, because it's about the guest experience. So, like, that conditioning, that good conditioning, that training, and then like 2 years of doing that, I worked my way up. I knew right away. I was like, I want to be a performer for the youth activities, if not
Mm.
performer for more. And so I had to do my time, wait for that opportunity, gruel away, doing the harder work for less money. Finally got an audition, made it, boom, loved it. Then I'm performing with Goofy. I'm Agent Stinkovitz, and we have the Goofy files, and counselor here has stolen the pixie dust. Who here thinks it was Bruce who stole the pixie? I'm interrogating counselors, my friends, right?
Yeah.
Goofy is there in a matching outfit, tying me up in caution tape. I'm creating magic. I have a mic on. I mean, that feeling of that mic, knowing that I started as a child loving just community theater. I was, I was a star in community theater, high school theater. I wasn't getting any roles. And then all of a sudden here I'm in Disney and perform like, yeah, this is my dream. I was burning out because working on the ship is grueling, y'all. 70 hours a week,
Wow.
no days off for the entirety of your contract. You work every single day. The day,
Mm.
you get back to port, they debark, the ship gets reset, and people come right back on. And people think that there's a day. You may not even get off this ship that day to even,
Mm.
you, this is your home. So it's amazing. But I got to say, just the experience creating magic, and having that on off switch is now innate. Like I can turn it on, I can turn it off. I'm not a very I can produce energy, but I can produce energy. I need other people's energy to give me that. And I think that my success is coming because I'm reflecting their energy right back at them.
Mm. Mhm.
Okay. Off topic again, Jamie. She's on a roller coaster ride. So Disney,
All is well.
huge, pivotal moment. But I burned out, as you do. Um, I remember the next pivotal moment. I got my teaching job. I was riding that beautiful high. It was amazing. And I was doing what I was doing and doing great at it. But I think it was that moment of like, something's missing. But I wasn't ballsy enough to look that in the eye. And I don't think I would have been able to leave the safety and the conditioning if I had not hit the next block. But this one was that big roadblock, that bad relationship, that wrong choice, that one night, one conversation that led into, a spiral.
Mhm.
Just had an unhealthy relationship with an ex-Marine. And if you can imagine, those who have served in the military have been traumatized deeply. And let's be honest, in the world, like, they haven't really received the help they needed to feel safe again. So I can look back now and be really grateful. That time was very scary in my life, and it led to a full breakdown, a full inability to function in the real world. I could not the board of education directors had to come to the school and see me, and they were like, you cannot even be a Walmart greeter right now. You're not capable. And I remember being so heartbroken. I have worked all this time for this, and I know she's not wrong. I literally know I can't, and I don't know why. I'm so broken down that I couldn't even identify that I was being abused. I literally couldn't even process it. So that was crazy, and it was hard, and it was the darkest I've ever seen life. That I didn't see a way out, and I think that was the scariest part, because there's only one way out when you don't see a way out, and that's scary. When you know you've never had dark, heavy feelings, and then that's all you're living in for an extended amount of time, months, not just days, weeks, months. It took a lot of work and a lot of self-advocation and a lot of help and family to bring me home where I could heal, because I wasn't healing fast enough down there, because there was still a physical and mental and emotional threat. That changed everything, because I can tell you right now, I'm a stubborn woman, and I was like, I will never move back home. Move back home. And now my life is like realigned, right? I remember my grandma always saying, can you move back home? Like, I have like we have teaching connections. Like, my whole family went to the same school district, including myself. Like we have connections. I want to do it for me, myself, and I want to earn it. I want to gruel. I want to sweat, bleed, and cry. And then that's not good energy too. Like, that's like, I realized, oh no, that's not very flowy, right? And relationships are everything. So it was just me pushing back at opening up and receiving that help. Thank God I moved back home. I mean, I needed to. I've healed a lot faster in theory, with that distance and safety. And there's nothing holding. There's nothing. My stuff is everything. I have nothing there. So you can start to breathe again, but doing the work, I had to do a lot of work. I had to invest a lot in my health and my healing with professionals, um, to get back to level ground. And then it's like, what do I do now? Okay, I'm finally feeling I'm ready to go back in the workforce again. I'm functioning again. I can conversate. I can cook for myself. I can breathe without thinking I don't remember how to breathe. If anyone's felt that way, you have that's crippling anxiety, depression right there, sissy. Medicine is what brings me to level ground, and I'm so grateful for it. And I have to remember that, because there's been times later on in life I forgot how much I need medicine to be on a level ground, just based on genetics and trauma. And that's okay. But we learn the hard way. I've told a lot of people, I am that bitch that needs to learn the hard way, and like really learn it times, multiple times. But like, there's always that one time that it went too far, and I desire, and moving forward, yeah, we don't need to go down to go up. We can go a little down. We don't have to go all the way down. All right, y'all. That was the pivotal moment. I started working at a museum. They had the summertime. Okay, kids, safety zone. Lizard brains happy, comfort. Yes, okay. Before I know it, I'm building up all these jobs, and then I got an opportunity, because I had nothing to go back to. Everyone else, this is a summer job. I'm a college student. I'm like 25 at this point. I'm like, I got nothing. I'm living with my mom. And I have no other work. My dream job that I thought was my dream. So it was really great, because I'm coming from an abundance in a weird way, not scarcity, of like, hey, summer's over. You want me? You need me? Hire me, or later, right? And I was like, it worked, because they're like, oh yeah, we got something else for you. And then that came to an end. All right, do you want me? And so I'm like building value for myself and moving up the ladder. And before I know it, they want to make their first ever internally developed and project managed exhibition. They want to do it over 9 months' time, but they don't want to just do one exhibition for their first time. They want to do 3.
Wow.
Okay. And they want to do it with a very meager budget. And they want it to be Lego. Anyone who knows Lego ain't cheap. Like one little peg, if you buy it online, 10 cents. I need hundreds, maybe thousands of pounds of Lego to make an exhibition for public. Y'all, man, resiliency. I think the key word I learned with entrepreneurship specifically too, and just the path, if you are resilient, you will be just fine. Let me tell you, going into time, if you have a track record, you're gonna be great. I loved that though, because I'm learning floor planning now. That's a new skill. I'm learning. Okay. And I'm being mentored by someone, twice, three times my age, has all this experience, but also maybe stuck in their ways and not really want creativity. So now I have to learn how to make my ideas someone else's ideas. Yeah, like I have to learn how to work the system to get things done. Hard, it's a strain, but I'm learning a lot. And now I learn how we can draw people through a room. I'm learning about signage, languaging. I still struggle with it to this day, but the work we did on just like signage at museums, you need to be succinct AF, or else we just glaze right over it. So I'm talking, I am wordy. I am a verbal processor. I could fill, I did great in school because I filled all these extra words and descriptors, and like that made me good in school. I just realized now. So of course I'm like, extra words, good. No, I have to learn how to package things like, boom, this is the purpose. This is what this is. This is the info you need. Cut all the fat. Great skills. Great skills. I use it today. I always remember, like, Jamie, pretend it's a sign. Pretend it's that was amazing. But once again, I burn out. I burn out on that. I burn out on just, it was becoming too hard, and I wanted to be more creative, and I wanted more control. And I also missed the microphone. And, during that time, I ended up starting to work with an entertainment company. And that's where things started shifting of like, wait a minute. Okay, if I can have a microphone in my hand every weekend, oh my God, that is filling my bucket. So what am I going to do? I'm going to work every weekend, 12 to 30 hours on 2 days.
Wow.
And then I'm going to work during the week.
Wow. I wonder where that would lead. Yeah.
That's going to lead to burnout. I financially, living on my own, I had to quote unquote have it all, pay my bills and have that, but also fulfill the thing that makes my soul go on fire. This is what I had to do, because in my mind, it's not an option yet. It's still not an option for me to do this full time. How could I do it full time? How's that even possible? What does that even look like? Right. But through time and through working there over, I think 5 to 7 years, I need a timeline to be made out, a line chart, but, being able to then grow there, be their only female saleswoman at the time. Pandemic hit. I'm now the team's dwindling down, and I'm like the last woman standing. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I realized I was doing things differently, and I liked it better in a more feminine way. And it was getting really hard because I'm being told I'm doing it wrong when I know that what I'm doing is working. But I also knew that I needed to be open to mentorship. I mean, they have all this extra, they have so much more experience, but there was something with the sales process just was icky to me, and once again, like I said earlier, I was tired of just showing up at the end and being the performer. I wanted to be part of the whole process and make that more seamless. But that can only be done in a small business format. That business is amazing. It started small, probably just like me, and it builds up. So now we have salespeople, we have entertainers. They are a multi-million-dollar company. I don't know numbers, but like, there's no doubt in my freaking mind. If not billion, I don't know at this point, but they have the team, and they built it out, and they have over 20 years of building. But I know that I want to give a soul to soul, woman to woman, woman to man, woman to they experience where they feel seen, they feel heard. I'm not coming in and telling you how this is going to go and you're going to hear my music. No, I love creating solutions for people. So this is, I don't know. I think I cover those big points, but man, whew.
Okay, so I guess coming off of that, then why did you shift into becoming an entrepreneur? Like, why not just continue to work for that other entertainment company? Like why you? Why do
I've
just you?
always known there's more. Now I feel, and I could be crazy, but doesn't everyone feel like there should be more? I don't
Mhm.
think it's fair to say that like half the population has that feeling and half don't, right? I,
Mhm.
there's some people that have given up on that, but like,
Yeah.
haven't we all at some point in our life known like there's more for me here than this? There's more for me. I don't feel fulfilled being a cog in someone else's wheel anymore.
Yeah.
And I think I've been mentally broken down too, of like, I guess I just kept being told I'm not grateful enough for the money I'm making. And I was slaving for that money. I was working way harder for less than I am
Mhm.
now. And I knew, I was like, that's something's not right here, because I also know as a salesperson how much I was being sold for. And then I realized, wait a minute. I mean, this is very clear if you just look at numbers and you're data driven, of like,
Mhm.
oh, my value. And if I'm a top performer, if I'm one of that lead entertainers in my
Mhm.
field in this company, and I know what it's being sold for, aha moment, I'm worth that,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm the one at the end of the day providing the service that they paid for. The
Right.
salesperson's getting great credit because they sold it, they guaranteed it, they did the things,
Mhm.
but they didn't actually do the damn thing.
Right.
So I just realized I could make a career out of it. And that
Mhm.
push was really that, like, that bottom line of like, I have tried. I felt like I was hitting my head against a wall. I had a bunch of jobs once I came back to Ohio, and every single one of them had this like
Mhm.
baseline toxicity that was affecting my mental health. And you have one big breakdown and you're way more sensitive to when you're starting to feel very anxious or
Right.
depressed, or like it's not a now I know those feelings are
Yes.
from me not being aligned
Right.
with myself.
Mhm.
I was abandoning myself at every turn and just grinding, and doing what everyone told me I needed to do to be successful, but it was killing me. It was killing me. And so
Yeah.
that's bottom line is, I actually knew I wanted to start the business, and I was starting the business before I really got in with the entertainment company full time.
Mhm.
But I knew I needed to drink that Kool-Aid. I needed to learn. I needed to absorb.
Yeah.
I had that growth mindset. But then
Mhm.
the pandemic really changed everything. And so working from home alone for a company and realizing, okay, I'm only really getting outside sales. I'm not getting any fun. Like, and I'm producing.
Mhm.
I could be producing more better if I had access to more higher leads, but I'm still producing.
Right.
It was that the pandemic really changed everything. I'm doing all of this from
Mhm.
home. Money's being collected. I am a cog in a wheel, and I
Mhm.
just want what I deserve. And when I bring up what I want to deserve, I'm being told that I don't deserve it, and I should be more grateful for what I. And I was like, there's more, and I know it's going to be hard. I know I don't know everything I'm doing. I'm going to learn. I'm going to just take action, because I know that the relationships I'm building with these clients are this is long term. I'm building raving fans, and that is a long term repeat client, and I'm doing that myself. So why don't I just do it for myself?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting. I think 2020, like we call it the COVID year, right? It'd be interesting to like listen back in 10 years of on these podcasts, and people are like COVID, like like
What was
it was
that?
it was a thing. But I feel like that year was truly a year where people either like they were either pushing themselves or they were being pushed by others,
Yes.
and like in that way it's like I rather like either way there's going to be changes. Either way there were so many things that were not in our control, and it's like, okay, well, I can either continue to let people control me, and I'm use these phrases kind of not strongly necessarily, but like, or I can choose to take control over what I have control over,
And take a
and really
chance on myself.
100%. Because that was the same year that I went full time on our businesses. Like that was it
Oh,
was such
okay.
a and it was one of those things where like, if not now, win. Like it was a year of, honestly, in my eyes, so much opportunity because
Mhm.
like, as you were saying, you were at home a lot, like it really, I think we condensed our time. We did the things that needed to get done. And then it's like, we weren't fluffing it up with all this bullshit time and all running to the,
It's hard to
getting
feel
caught.
fulfilled, you know? Hard to feel
Yeah, I
fulfilled
mean,
without all the
all,
things.
exactly. Yeah. So like, condensing that, and then it's like, okay, we have this, we'll say, extra time. It's like, okay, well, what do we do with that now? And it's really that time of, okay, either I can continue to watch Netflix for, all the days of my life, which, not gonna lie, I did that for a month and then I got super bored.
That'll happen.
But again, like you, I'm similar. You kind of have to learn by doing.
Mhm.
But that next step is like, okay, well, I don't want to be doing watching Netflix for the rest of my life. Well, what comes after that? And it's like choosing me. Like I want to grow my mind. I want to invest in myself. I want to provide value to others that like fulfills me. And
The
from that
gift,
aspect,
the innate
I
gift we've
think
been given.
100%. I think you are able to compound your impact when you start like living authentically, when you start taking action out of the gifts that you're given, and you like allow yourself to listen to those gifts in the first place too. I think a lot of us suppress that.
Oh, yeah.
So by taking action out of it, like, it gets louder and louder, and I mean that in a good way, like,
It's
because then
well,
you,
it's
yeah.
I didn't just wake up and say, "I'm gonna do it," you know?
Right. Right.
It was like this history of, like, I keep I'm getting really tired of the BS at all these places. I'm tired of the red tape. I'm tired of managing other grown humans' personalities so that we can get one thing done. I'm tired. I'm tired of the gaslighting. I'm tired of being underpaid and overworked in a
Mhm.
pandemic. I'm tired of it all. And what is the solution? The solution is listen. You know, I live frugally. I put some money away. There's risk in taking the leap of faith, but is there? Because
Mhm.
really, that is the chance to see. There,
Yeah.
you can always go back
100%.
to the hamster wheel. The hamster wheel is not going anywhere, y'all.
Yeah.
Corporate work, all the hamster, it is always there, and you're probably overqualified for where you're working right now, anyway.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a woman.
Mm. Yeah.
Stop not applying for the jobs you think you're underqualified for. Stop it. Go for it.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you feel like there's more and you are getting so fed up with this world and you see a gap and you have a solution, what's the best that could happen? We talk about that. What's the worst that could happen, right? That's an easy, and we learn now, like, that's a negative mindset to have. But yeah,
Yeah. I
worst
think
is
I
you can go
think
back to what you've been doing, right? You can go right back,
exactly.
and you can go back to that level of joy. But
Yep.
but there's so much more reward on the other side of that risk. And
Yeah.
even if it doesn't make you the same amount of money as you did, I'm going to tell you right now, the joy and the peace and the feeling you have when you have that autonomy and you've taken
Mhm.
control of your life and you have control of everything. People say, "Oh, can you do this?" I'm like, "Oh, let me ask my boss." And that's so cheesy. I gotta stop doing that. But seriously, it's so empowering. Oh, I
Yeah.
can make this decision.
Yes. Yes.
And you learn as you're doing it, you're making more and more aligned decisions because we all start and we want to get going. We want to start making that
Mhm.
money. It's worth the discount. It's worth doing a bunch of free events and some trade here. And hey, there's perfect opportunities all around. But
Mhm.
it's really that then once you've all that experience, you can sit in your power of like, I know my value here. It's
Yes.
amazing to see the shifts from day one to 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So you spoke in a little minute ago about having soul to soul relationships. So how do you create those?
I mean, it's not like, I'm not putting a lot of work into it's not an effort thing. It's a
Mhm.
feeling thing.
Mhm.
I was listening to another podcast recently that mentioned, that dreamy client is someone that is a reflection of yourself,
Yes.
because we like working with people that, right? That are on
Mhm.
our wavelength. It's so much easier, smoother. Everyone's like, oh my God, you must have so many bridezillas. Oh, I'm like, I don't know what that looks like in my business.
Yep.
I have zero. I have
Yep.
zero because like, we
Yep.
have a level of trust that we built like right from the first phone call. If there is that like, it's a vibe. It is a
Mhm.
vibe. And if they're
Mhm.
not feeling the vibe like right away, sometimes they're just in a funk and I can bring that vibe right out of them. And it's like, I know. And I swear a lot of my brides specifically, I'm like, are you my sister? Like we
Yep.
like, and it's not always this picture perfect sister. It's really
For
truly a
sure.
feeling. I also think that there is a skill. I am aware there's a skill set in conversation
Mhm.
with them, right? Of knowing that I've worked in places where I and other clients or whomever didn't
Mhm.
feel fully seen and heard. And so
Mhm.
I'm very self-conscious of that. I'm also self-conscious of my energy and a little ADHD. So I'll be straight like, whoa, hold up. Probably ADHD too. Probably get it. Um, I think though it's the relationship builds once you're serving, once you are proving, right? You've given it all on the front end. A lot of my work is planning, right? When you're in photography mode, the majority of that work is on the back end, the editing, all of that, right? So well,
Yep.
you're planning in, but the rest of it is the day of. I'm the opposite. I'm doing all of this ahead of time to make sure everything is good. You feel taken care of. And also, let's be honest, when I was emceeing for other companies, I was doing way more than what an MC should do because I am an overachiever that doesn't know how to stop sometimes. When I am not in alignment, I
Mhm.
don't know where the off button is. So before I know it, I'm helping with all these extra things. But I'm like, there's
Mhm.
value in that.
Mhm.
And there's a value in a women's touch because I'm gonna take your event and your date as seriously as if it were mine. I know the financial investment as a businesswoman. I
Mhm.
know the time that you've taken on planning and like I just want to make your date easier. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah. Sounds fabulous.
Who doesn't want that? I don't know if I answered the question once again.
No, I know you did in your own way, and I like it. No, and that's exactly like creating those soul to soul relationship. No, I think you really did hit it on the head in the sense of
Natural.
like it's a vibe. Like it's not something, and it literally think of it soul to soul. Okay, well your soul needs to match the other person's soul. Like in a sense,
Mm.
like you need to be on the same wavelength. And I think over time too, as we evolve, as humans, as business owners, as women, on whatever capacity, like we also evolve our ideal client. And
Oh
so
yes.
there's always this evolutionary, I call it up leveling, hopefully up leveling
Mm.
all the time of those ideal clients because, presumably your rates are at a whatever rate they are for whatever you're offering, and then over time, again, generally you increase those prices. So as prices increase, your client generally shifts.
It does.
And that was something that was huge for us in our wedding business because once we doubled our prices like 2 years ago, and I've had, I think out of all of our years, maybe one or two bridezillas, and I'm like, this shit sucks, and I got paid jack shit for it too. And it's like, why not increase your prices and have the best fucking time with your clients too? Like everything just
Yeah.
drives well. And I'm not necessarily saying like you have to increase your prices to get your ideal clients. That's not where I'm going with this. But like to find those most aligned clients, you have to be in alignment yourself. When you're in alignment with
Mm-hmm.
yourself, know who your aligned client is. Because
When I don't
it's
know my
just
value, I have sold to someone who I'm not aligned with, but I'm out of that scarcity. I'm bringing that
yes.
price down so that I can get that money. But guess what? You're not feeling good about it for a reason because you undersold yourself. You
Yep.
you disrespected yourself in a way. And now guess what? You're showing up. You you can try all you want in the world, but when you already feel bitter and resentful, because you were underpaid, but you were the one that quoted that and
Yep.
accepted that. You're
Yep.
mad at yourself so much. How do you not bring that energy on the day of? It's
Right.
hard. It's
Yeah.
hard. When I'm showing up and I've been paid my worth, I have a
Mhm.
ease and
Mhm.
a flow. And it's because I feel seen. I feel
Yeah.
seen when you're not. I feel like you've invited me in because you saw the value at the
Mhm.
price point that is equal to the energy I'm giving. Honestly, probably should go up again. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's one of the it's the constant upload we talk about. But that it goes into human design, and I know that this is a whole other podcast within itself. But like
Yeah.
aligning with that human design and
Yep.
knowing what for me what feels aligned and when it doesn't feel aligned,
Mhm.
and what these and
Mhm.
having words for it. When I'm feeling bitter and
Mhm.
resentful, I'm not aligned. I'm not I shouldn't have taken on that client. I now and it's a skill that you hone, and now I know right away.
Mhm.
I'm aware right away. And now this year at this tail end, it's been a lot more self-advocation. My bandwidth is pretty tight. And so
Yep.
if you don't see that value, like I am coming from this place of like mass abundance and I'm just gassing myself up. I'm like, that is completely fine because honestly, I'd rather have that day off than to
Yeah.
take up hundreds off that thing and show up and already know that you don't see my value.
Mhm.
I also understand that you have to see it to believe it.
Mhm.
And that person hasn't seen it. They haven't seen me at an event. They haven't seen the outcome of that. And
Mhm.
and the people, and then you're dealing with a board of people, right? They don't know you from Adam, right? So of course, that's not my
Yep.
ideal client. I want to work directly with the person who's making a decision
Yeah.
here.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Clarity. Oh, that came out real quick. This okay. Because
Okay,
they're my
so
best advocate. They're my raving fans. And so those people, like,
yes.
if you're the raving fan and you're going up the totem pole and you've seen me, you know me, the experience, that is an easy sell, right? But
Yep.
if you're not already a raving fan, I get it. It is hard. No one has seen it like this, except for there are some really amazing entertainment companies out there. Community. I am one woman. I mean, even where I come from, they put on some big baddie shows. They got so much technology, right?
Mhm.
But this is like the investment matches the energy. Oh, you gotta.
Mhm.
I get
Mhm.
it, and I can release that easier, knowing you don't know yet. You don't really know the energy producer experience yet, and so like it's totally okay.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with it. But let me tell you, people come back.
Yes.
Baby, come back. Next year, they're like, oh wow, that went bad. Ooh, maybe that was worth it. And I'm always here to be like, absolutely, like I get it. I get it. Budgets, red tape. I've been there. I know what corporate world looks like. I
Mhm.
know what nonprofit world looks like. I know what it all looks like. It's hard. It's hard working for companies. And because with most companies, you have a full-time job and you're also becoming a party planner.
Yep. Yep.
Crazy.
So we were talking about like not necessarily seeing your worth, right? Just a second ago, and you spoke earlier when you were talking about your pivotal moments in your life. So if someone was in your if someone is in your shoes now, where
Mm-hmm.
you were at, years ago, essentially not being able to see a way out. They're not able to see what their next steps are or how anything could change from where they're at now. What advice would you give to someone in that position
Let's start with like you're not a victim. Like you are main character energy if you choose.
right now?
You do.
Mhm.
Even in the times where you feel powerless, zero control, you have control, but you
Mhm.
have to make a choice
Yeah.
and you have to take some action. You always, and I know through the work, through with all this work with coaches that I had a
Mhm.
victimized, like I felt
Mhm.
victim to so much BS. And then as soon as I was able to really truly shift to like, I've always had choice.
Mhm.
So when
So
you're not in the mindset, you don't feel like you have choice, but it's one little step.
yeah,
One step is all you need to take.
so true.
And also like who's keeping you here?
Mhm.
is your employee like, and honestly, this was a transparently, this was a conversation I had with a previous employer. I found it very insulting, but they were like, look at your ankle. I was like, what? Like, do you see a chain on it? And I was like, no. They're like, you're not chained to, like, if you're not
Mhm.
happy, you can go. You're not obligated to stay where you're not happy. Now, that whole chain thing was weird to me, right? Okay, but moving forward,
Mhm. Mhm.
same concept. And now that I'm so far from it, I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
I felt like I was stuck. I didn't have a choice. I couldn't leave. I had nothing. No, pause. You can zoom out. You have every option on the table. It's just scary AF.
Mhm.
What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What's the next step? Maybe that step seems too far. Okay, so no one goes from here to there, right? So
Mhm.
what next room do you need to get into to help get you into the next room that's going to get you into the room you need to be in? What
Yeah.
skills do you need to hone? Maybe before you leave a company, like straight out, be aware, right?
Mhm.
Be observant. Start taking in more information. Build value on yourself. Learn as much as you can, especially if you're working in an industry that you want to be in.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Like I love everything you just said. And
Thanks.
when we're in shitty situations, a lot of the times it is challenging to envision that next step
Oh,
because
I could say
our
it's impossible sometimes.
yeah,
I've been in places where
because
it's not doable. I get it.
100%. Our brain is just so wrapped up on these stories that we create because we just feel so stuck, so constricted, so like literally in a box, and we're like, I don't know how to open this thing, you know? So it's
And can we, and let's give it a name. That is your lizard brain
yeah,
trying to keep you safe. And
100%.
I can kiss my brain like I'm in kindergarten because I appreciate now. I can be like, I appreciate you for keeping me safe, but your
Yes.
definition of safe is not my definition of safe. Like, you
Exactly.
remember that growth is outside that comfort zone. And so, I mean, it's doing its job. It wants you to stay comfortable. But once you
100%.
break through that little bit, even if it's a little win, I mean, like, there's reward.
There's so much power in the little wins too. Like so when you feel like you can't envision that next step of yourself, a lot of it is because sometimes it's more like we know the uncomfortable where we're at now versus the uncomfortable of the unknown. And sometimes
Hmm.
if we have to choose between the uncomfortables, we rather take the known one than the unknown one. And
Yes.
it's so interesting to see. So I see a lot of clients in this capacity. They're, you know, it comes down to I rather take the known uncomfortable than the unknown uncomfortable. And the question I always propose to them is, okay, let's say you were having a conversation with your best friend right now and they were in a really shitty situation. What would you tell them to do? You wouldn't be like, "Oh, just stay there." Like, you know what to expect. How people handle it. You know what they do, and this is how it goes, and you know how you're gonna react and overreact and all the things, right?
And
That would
you know the level unhappy that you're gonna like. You
100%.
know how unhappy you're gonna be for sure. And so, like, okay,
Exactly,
it's a
exactly.
guarantee.
What yeah, exactly, because the thing is, we were talking about your lizard brain, right? Our brain loves to stay safe. It loves to stay comfortable. And one of the ways it views it increases its safety and comfortable is if it knows the future, right?
Good
So
futures.
it's 100% perceived future of, well, I know this level of uncomfortable. I know this level, of unhappy, right? So our brain thinks that even though we like, yes, there could be this version of ourselves in the future that's happier and is not in this situation, but because I know what my future is going to be, my brain actually views that as a higher scale of safety, which is like it's crazy. But I always love this is why I love coaching about the brain, because there's
Yes.
so many times we make our own self stuck. Put these blinders up and like, well, this is our future, this is where we have to go, this is what we have to do. It's like, why don't we take that shit off, look around and be like, okay, knowing that anything is fucking possible, which
You can
it
do
is.
anything.
You can do literally anything. What do you want to do? And the question I also asked too, if your success wasn't 100% guaranteed, You know, whatever you envision that future self to be, if you knew you could achieve her, what would you do right now? And most of the time, they ramble off all these, oh, I do this. And here's the fun part about all of it is like, it's fucking possible. Like, you can literally become her, you know, whatever that
Yes.
like, you know, going that next level yourself. It is so, it's so fun to, and uncomfortable, but mostly fun,
Yeah.
to expand yourself. So, how would you know when you have to go under changes? Like when you're going through this metamorphosis phase, most of the time it's like looking back and you're like, oh yeah, that was a change for me. That was a metamorphosis. That was, you know, this reinvention of myself. But like when you're in that moment, how do you know you need to change? Or like, I mean, perhaps it starts with a want. But like, I guess when you're in that moment, like what do you do? What happens? How does that look like? What all the things?
Yeah, it reminds me of a question that someone asked at the entrepreneurship summit of like the difference
Mhm.
between knowing you need to make a change in action and knowing that you've gone too long without taking action,
Mm,
right? And I think
love
that
that.
was, and I honestly, I've had over a month to process on that question. At the time, I was struggling with giving that answer because I was kind of, it's a big question.
Yeah,
It's a lot to process right off the cusp.
yeah.
For me, it was like, really hitting rock bottoms of like, it's,
Mm,
and I love speaking publicly because if I can help anyone know that they don't have to hit rock bottom to get back up, you know, gosh, if I can save just one person from pushing themselves so hard and fast and down and just self-abandoning so much that you break,
mhm.
when you're breaking. I mean, there are symptoms. Now, there's physical symptoms to everything, and it's really great to have names and words for everything because it really just kind of destigmatizes it. When I can be like, oh, that's my lizard brain, whether it's personal or professional. Oh, okay. And once you're aware, you can't be unaware, which is nice. Like, I mean,
Yes.
you can pretend you don't know anymore, but now I know, and now I need to use that. Okay. Um, there are certain like non-negotiables in work for every person. And I think
Mm,
maybe, and I'm channeling this. This is not even prepared. Um,
mhm,
if you can write those down as simplified as
mhm,
you can, your base Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like your base needs that you need to stay where you are.
mm,
Typically for me, it's required that for the place, it's required them to change a lot.
mhm.
But it's because they weren't filling the things I needed. I needed to be paid my worth. But I felt, and I wasn't asking a lot. I just wanted a little more. I just need you to see my
Yeah,
value. I need there to be healthy, clear communication.
yeah. I love all the
Top
things.
to bottom, right? All these things, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
If you have a toxic boss, though, here's the deal. If you have a toxic boss, right, there's that moment of realization of saying, are they going to get rid of this person in leadership? Is that
Mhm,
happening anytime soon? Can I work with this person? Are they going anywhere? Do I even, at the end of the day, typically the person in leadership is not getting bumped down because someone on low on the totem pole is not happy, even though a
mhm.
lot of people are unhappy, right? That's not going to change. But what do you
No.
have power of? Yourself.
Yes.
How long, right? I needed someone to advocate for me. Like, how long are you going to be unhappy? When are you going to decide enough's enough? When? And that aha moment of like, I believe you, I see you, and I know you can do it. I honestly, I needed another woman to do that for me to take the leap as well. I needed to
Mhm,
have
mhm,
another entrepreneur, coach, someone saying, I see you. I mean, I needed the push not only from my life partner, but from other women in entrepreneurship. It was community has been huge, but
mhm.
there's you got those are the things like, okay, I'm anxious in my work, I feel a little depressed in my work, but like, is there any way for me to change any of this? I've spoken to HR, I've asked for what I need, right? You put it all out there.
Mhm,
What do I have
mhm,
control over, right? Okay,
mhm.
now let me go to HR or whomever to see if I can get these things. And if you're not, if right there, then they tell you they can't do anything with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the time, right? You don't have to say, I quit right there. You can take your time, process, start making little steps, start getting some
Yeah.
applications out. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's when you leave. Now, you also need to leave and make a change when you've gone past that point and you force yourself to stay there. But you've also got to realize you force yourself to stay there because of outside factors. It's the outside conditioning and pressure as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not the victim anymore. If you can say, hold on, I'm not the victim. I'm the main character. I'm unhappy. No one's coming to save me.
Mm-hmm.
I had to have that realization myself. No one's going to just like talent scout you out at Starbucks. No one's just
Yeah.
going to see you standing around and be like, wow, her vibe is cool. Do you want to be an actress? Do you want to be on a micro? I realize it's not, I don't know why I thought that if I just, that happens sometimes in manifestation. Let's be honest. Like all of that is possible. And at the end of the day, the only person that can save you and change your life is you. And the only one that can give you that love and affirmation is you. I have been someone who spent my whole life seeking outer validation
Mm-hmm.
all times. And I still do. I have these moments that I cave in. I just, and now, but now I can say, I just need your affirmation, please. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had to start saying, no, I got to validate myself and know it in my body. You feel
Yeah.
it in your body when you are not aligned and when you start honing those skills. So
Yeah.
now realizing, and also you have the power to change your mind. This seems scary to me, and I have not done this, but I want to be bold enough to say there will be a time where I take on a client and later on have to release them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there will be a time that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's also allowed because as a business owner, you get to make the choices. And so it's a constant daily practice to step into your own power, to realize
Yeah.
that you have full control. And what are you going to do with that?
I love that you really, you speaking into this, it really shifts, uh, what am I saying? Essentially, like the requirement of action from somebody else to yourself. Like it fully empowers you to take control, to like you are the one that has the authority and the self permission to do whatever the hell you want to do, need to do to get you to wherever you the hell you want to be.
Mm,
So this is really cool. And obviously like your like to witness your just your growth, your evolution over the last few years is absolutely incredible. So
thank
I
you.
have this next question is I want to talk about 100K problems. I want to talk about
Uh-oh.
like, what are the problems that, things that you're worried about or that you're considering at 100K revenue mark, and how are they different than a 40K revenue mark?
Oh, yes, yes, yeah. As they say, mo money, mo problems. And it's true. I had a coach who kind of like didn't say it that way, but it is like
Pretty much.
once you hit that six figures, right, nothing really changes. You I paused and I celebrated in many different
Yes.
ways, right? But
Yes.
like it's you get that dopamine hit, I did it, and then that dopamine is gone, right? And
Yes.
now
Yes.
there is this like pause of like, okay, now what?
Mhm.
For me, my biggest fears right now, transparently, is letting go of some responsibilities and I'm at the point where okay, revenue is getting big enough where I feel like I could comfortably hire someone part-time, but I'm also still scared. Like i
Mhm.
I had opportunity to hire people last year, but I knew that my income, net was not I was just last year making enough to cover myself and invest properly in the business. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to be a dumbass business owner and be like, yeah, let me overextend my money right in these areas. I realize now, like, if I'm going to hire someone, it needs to be someone that's sales. Like, a lot of people want to work and be a part of the vibe, and it's great, but there needs to be value. Like, we need more money in the door so that we can pay. I I spent so much of my life being a victim and feeling this trauma of like being underpaid, and I just refuse. So right
Mhm.
now I know I'm a one woman show. I can do it all. I can subcontract out all these different things, some photo booths, extra entertainment, and I can still do all the things. And I'm going to keep doing that, right? Until I know that I'm in a safe enough place. Now, someone else could say, if you're a really abundant mindset, you would just go for it, right? And leap. I'm human. My lizard brain says, don't do it. Conserve it. You're finally making like 10,000 more net than you used to, working for someone else, right? I have this really big number, but that's not the number that's in my personal bank account, right?
For sure.
That's
For
a
sure.
big thing too.
Yes.
Right? So like, what was the original question? Because I spiraled on that one.
No, all as well. So essentially, what are the problems that you come across making 100K revenue versus 40K revenue? Which you've spoken to a handful.
Right now, it's the problem here is like knowing, and this is where the right guidance and the right people, like having a good bookkeeper and CPA and coach and all in the right places is very helpful. But it's like there's a fear of like I don't want to scale too fast. Right? I want to make sure that I'm just constantly improving that experience as we go. Other six-figure problems. Honestly, right now I'm in the honeymoon phase. I feel abundant just knowing I hit that goal. Knowing that in this new year, my monthly office costs are not going to be an issue. Like just coming from this place of abundance, I was like, okay, great. But I will like next year. My cost of business is going to be much higher. It's going to be probably double what it was. So it's just, and then you got to work that much harder to make that much more revenue to cover those assets. So
yeah,
I just want to make sure I do everything strategically. And
yeah, 100%. And I think that's something I preach all the time is when you're taking leaps and no matter
this is good news for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
like
affirmation.
100%. No, when you're taking leaps, it has to be strategic. There's so many people out there I witness, they're like, I'm just going to quit my full-time job and start a business. And it's like, whoa, sister, like there's some steps that need to take place, like
I didn't quit and then like go. No, I was doing all these things before I jumped.
100%. And I think that is the smartest way to do it. And again, it kind of comes back to knowing our, in your terms, lizard brain, right? So when we know our brain wants safety and security, if we're always trying to fight for that next dollar so we can pay our rent, like that, our brain's going to freak the fuck out. Versus if we had that strategic leap, well, maybe we're still working part-time and we do jobs in the evenings or on the weekends, or maybe we, have a part-time, we go down to part-time and like taking these incremental shifts. So your brain, I like to say, so your brain can envision the new future, like giving it time to do that. And at the end of the day, also just the masculine vibes of fucking money, like, do you have enough to pay your basic requirements, or, if you're cool with being in the red, in the negatives when you start a business, okay, do you have enough money saved up to cover that so you can be in the right energy to just like find your ideal client? I witness so often is they're like, they take that unstrategic leap and then the energy is very like I need and like this is how I survive versus like sitting back and like waiting to accept and the ideal client and not accepting clients just because there's money attached to it. It's like, let's accept clients that are actually in alignment with us.
That's what
I know
I'm sitting back. You come
100%.
to me. You come to
And I
me
think,
now. It's so empowering. Like, oh,
yeah,
they'll find me.
100%. I think that one of the big differences between like for us, our 40K to 100K, I think our 40K, we were so worried about the day to day, like how do I make more money? How do I get more clients? How do like
Working out of the house as well, but then also
Yeah.
realize like that working out of the house was not a service. I was actually like, I wasn't doing my best work from home, but so we need to take a strategic plan and get somewhere else. There's always something there.
Yes.
I also want to say too, with with the cost of starting a business, all the female bankers out there are gonna give me a, because it was pointed out to me the huge difference between men, business owners, entrepreneurs taking out business loans that could have zero APR, but there are options out there compared to women. Most women are just taking money out of their personal bank account, putting it in the business to get it started, and then going from there. And I'm going to say I did that.
Yeah.
I was like, I need certain equipment to get started. I'm a service based, right? And once that's covered, then now I need this, but I wasn't overbuying. There was times where I rented equipment because for that one moment, it wasn't worth me buying it. Like,
Right.
whereas other men business owners, they end up with a massive warehouse because they just, I better buy.
Yeah.
Well, now you have more expense. Now your
Yeah.
warehouse is way more. Long story short, that blew my mind just to hear the gap between how many brand new male entrepreneurs compared to female entrepreneurs apply and take out a business loan.
That's very interesting.
I just want to put it out there, women, it's an option.
It is.
It's an option. It is a massive option, especially when you're like, I don't have the savings to take this leap.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you have good credit because you've been paying your bills, like pay all that stuff early on time? And, the business loans are an option. And I know that I did not see that for myself until a female banker told me. And I was like, I could have done that.
Interesting. Yeah. And I think, especially having this business background, like what, I have my MBA, my background was insurance. Like my father's a certified financial planner. Like my background's money brain, like that's my brain runs numbers sometime, like that's where it started. Now it's shifted to like, I like, the blue sky and
it's
meditating, all the things,
that right side of your brain is starting to play around with the left a little more.
They're playing with each other. Yeah. But like, I think the opportunity for leverage, I think it's great. You can do a lot of things with money. And I feel like that's a topic for another day, is money, shifting it from this thing that you need to, no, money is just a resource. Just like, turning on your water faucet, just like, eating, I don't know, cookies. Cookies are in my brain right now, but whatever that is, it's just a thing. It's just a resource. So often we demonize it almost as like, oh, well, if I have too much, then I'm an asshole. But if I don't have enough, then I'm a good person. It's like
you're speaking into my brain. Yeah, my brain is like, yeah. I am a budget. Like I am a scrape it by. I was raised to be very frugal. And I know that a lot of my success comes from how freaking frugal and resourceful I am. I can make a, mountain out of a molehill. You give me $50, I can make a show. Okay. Yeah. Like I will do it, that conditioning, that's something I am constantly working on. And I feel like this past few weeks, I was like, woo, flow. Like it felt good to kind of be more in the energy of like, I'm putting it out, it's going to come back. Whereas I'm fighting that conditioning of hold on tight, protect, just work, make all the money. And then all of a sudden, like I'm seeing the money in the account. I'm like, I get it now. Like that, I earned that energetic account, like number. And I put it out and it feels good because I'm getting the number that I feel like I'm expending. Yeah. And now I can more free flow spend it, but also strategically spend it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So, what should someone be looking for in a good masters of ceremonies, DJs, event hosts? Like what are some things that, like, when they're looking for one, here are some bullet points, things to consider?
Personality. Let's start there, right? Not every personality is perfect for, every client, right? There's some clients that want a very serious, and very formal. We can dial it up, dial it down, but typically you're booking me if you like my natural energy. But every master of ceremonies needs to have some kind of personality because they've got to get that audience to be their friend, to be on their side, to like them enough to listen, to be like, you kind of want to, you tend to respect and listen to someone you like more than like, you
Yeah.
just have to have that personality, A. B, let's just talk like legality wise with event
Mm-hmm.
entertainers. And because right now, I don't think you just book an MC. You're booking a DJ and an MC and all the things.
Mm-hmm.
There's no contract. Woo! Be careful. Okay. We need contracts. We need event entertainment liability insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Something happens with that equipment. Someone trips over a cable, even though it's taped down. Something, a kid knocks over a light pole. It needs to cover both like the humans and the equipment. Everyone needs to be covered there. That's huge.
Yes.
You also want to make sure that you're understanding, what their process is in the planning piece. What are you paying for? How
Mm-hmm.
hands-on and hands-off are they? Right? For me, I have some events where they just want me to show up and do my thing, and they give me a few, rotating announcements, and I'm good as gold. I can run with it. I can run with anything like that. There's other events where I know they need to enhance this experience in totality. I learn about what happened in the last event, what was good, what was bad, what do we need more of, right? Now that's where I love to play with my clients and help curate that whole day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that it is seamless, right? So what are you getting, right? Or what are you getting for your money? Are you getting somebody who's just going to show up and talk on the microphone and DJ? Make sure that this quote is broken down in a way that you can understand what the investment is, and it's always an open door, right? Especially as a small business. Let's communicate, right? Okay, is this quote too much? What on there do you not need or not desire? Let's start there. But I'm also always going to be able to explain the value of what I'm bringing to the table and the importance of it. If someone is not talking professionally about any of this, um, if they don't, if you can tell they don't know what they're talking, if you have some weird vibes, right?
Yeah.
Or I've had some female clients just be like, my last call was horrendous. He
Oh
basically
no.
was, I've heard things of like, they talked to another company and they were like cheesy, overly masculine. Oh, you're gonna make me have to actually work this time. That's
Yeah.
not funny, okay? That's
Yeah.
not funny. Run. Okay? Run.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love working for you. That is my job. So once you like are booked in, like your vendors should be wanting to help you, being responsive as best they can, right? We're not perfect, but that communication is key. I had something else, but it's going to come back. It's going to come back to me. The better have equipment. Oh, and just, for me, I don't have 170 reviews on Google. I've been doing this a long time and I've got a lot of great reviews for other people. Let me tell you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
make sure there's some reviews. Feel free to like reach out. Like, I think that a lot of my clients too would say, like, if anyone wants to reach out and ask me, if you really want a woman to woman referral and hear from, like, that's an option. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Ask if their music taste is, more prevalent than what make sure that they're willing to create the experience you want and not put you in a box. Because a lot of events and a lot of planners and salespeople, not planners so much, but salespeople, they want to make it easy. They want to make a quick timeline and they boom, boom, boom,
Right.
boom, and move on to the next because they need to get money in the door. If you're not feeling looked for and cared after, and there's an investment on the other end from me to you,
Yeah. I love
run.
all the things.
Is that,
I love
yeah, that's a lot.
that. No, that is fabulous because there's so much like when you are booking a vendor or even just someone to work with in whatever capacity that looks like there's a lot of things that could go haywire on a day. So finding someone that, is solution focused, is wanting the best for their client and just fucking loves what they do. Like that's like the trifecta there of getting the best service to you as the client. So I think that's all super, super important.
Yeah. You get what
Um
you pay. You really do get what you pay for. So those Facebook
yes.
groups, I've heard horror stories up the ante. So many horror stories in the past year, if not more. So
Yeah.
you've got to know that you do get what you pay for there.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like we could talk all day.
Oh
But
yeah.
to start
Derp.
wrapping it up. Okay, my last question. What advice would you give to other women entrepreneurs to living their most authentic selves?
I like, and this is Jamie coming straight from that woo. I mentioned it before, and I just like I feel like it's changed my life so stinking much in the past 2 years. But really, just even the base knowledge of human design, if you can just
Mm.
look that up, put in some information, and start to absorb some info from there, it is huge. It is huge because it literally is telling you what is aligned and what is not. How do you feel when you're not in alignment? How do you feel when you're in alignment? And the more you can tune into that, the better. And the more that I've learned, and I have been preaching this to girlfriends as well, because I've been one to not trust myself a
Mhm.
lot. And also like not knowing sometimes those anxious thoughts of what's real, what's not, right? What's fear,
Yeah.
what's authentic, right? But the more that I get in touch with my body and work in that alignment, the better. I also feel like being your most authentic self is you just stop worrying so much about other
Mhm.
people. Girl, I
Mhm.
walk around this office in leopard print little slippers. I showed up with my hair a mess yesterday in an out of office sweatshirt. I don't
Mhm.
care, okay? I don't care. Or I'm dancing like a fool looking, I don't care. That's when you're being most authentic. So and I'm sure Sam, you probably coach a lot of people, and it's something you probably say
100%.
till you're blue in the face. Everyone is in their own head. And what's
Yeah.
going on in your head right now? Are you thinking about that person over there? Or are you thinking about how you look? You're probably thinking about yourself because that is the human
Yes.
experience. And that is how, ooh, wow, just kicked the table. That is just how the brain, I get it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think we just need to question ourselves, like, each time we take action that doesn't necessarily feel out of alignment, it's like, "Where's this coming from?" You know, and if I could choose a more aligned thought, what would that be? And just even questioning our own thoughts,
Yes.
really propel us to start thinking more like our more aligned self. So, I love
And
it.
you know the times where I have just like literally the more authentic I am, the more magnetic I become.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I think that my people, my tribe, my vibe, energy people, I was a guest at a wedding. I had raving fans and they didn't even know that I work in this industry for a freaking living. These random people didn't even
Mhm.
know me and I was just doing I had a LED tambourine and I was going, okay? But you know what happened? They then
Yeah.
felt seen. They're like, "Oh my god, I wish I could be like that." And then they kind of had the aha moment of
Yes.
like, what's stopping me? And at the end of the day, it's always you stopping you. You are shaming
Yes.
yourself. You are
Yes.
talking down to yourself. I am my own worst critic. I beat myself up after my very first summit presentation. I knew I did great, but then I will admit I'm just as bad. I'm just as bad at that. But really just let go. If you can let go, let me tell you, so much can come back to you. People love seeing other people having fun. How many things you're scrolling through the reels, people having fun, doing good things on the street, feel good stuff. That is magnet. The universe loves that. Do more of it.
I love it. I love it.
It gives
Okay.
this is what I was trying to get to. It gives other
Yeah.
people permission. Seeing
Yes.
someone else being their full authentic selves. Yes, this is where I wanted to
Yes.
go. It's like this silent permission for you to start being you. And so that's why like what I'm doing is working because it's really I'm trusting in that.
All the exciting things. I love everything you said. So, okay, where can people find you? What are your current offerings? Like, how can people work with you? Tell us all the things.
Amazing, amazing. Listen, it's been a crazy solopreneur year. So like content wise, listen, there are about 50 events that you have not even seen on Instagram, but your girl is determined to catch up. Um, Instagram is a great home base for me if you're a social media person. So at any social media, not all of them. I'm not on Twitter. Okay. I'm trying to update my LinkedIn better. I know that's important. We're working towards it, but everything is at the energy producer. The energy producer. One word, no dots, no spaces. The energy producer is basically your key to finding me. on social media. There's also a link in the bio there. That's a great place to find all the things. So my link in the bio on Instagram is also going to be able to show you upcoming public events. Some of the events I do and I'm paid to do are for the public, like events here at Beach Place for the holidays. So that's also a great tool for people who are interested, but they need to see it to believe it to buy it. I was like, I need to see you first. I get it. Come see me, girl, right? I'll let you know what you need to pay for, what's free, right? These upcoming public event links. You can always send in a little event form, request some information. Do know that I custom quote everything, right? we have packages, right? But at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest, every client needs something a little different. And oftentimes them needing something a little different will often save them some money at the end of the day because they're not being oversold, because I think that's gross. So let me take care of you there. My website, you'll of course easily find in this link tree, www.theenergyproducer.com. We're trying to keep it as simple as possible. As long as you know the words The Energy Producer, you're going to find me. And offerings. Now, right now, we're serving from just abundance. We are offering solutions for nonprofit organizations, whether that's a fundraiser or whether that's a community event. We're doing corporate events, whether it's team building, holiday parties, conferences, award shows, y'all need some energy, okay? And then, of course, weddings and social events. What I'd love to do for your listeners, viewers, something a little special for any, bookings, whether I already have you on the bracket or not. I would love to just offer a $200 value add to any of your events that you book with me there. So that could look like uplighting extras. That could look like some neon signs on the DJ facade. That could look like, some extra games or an extra speaker and microphone, just to give you that extra value. We love to give back. And I also been just spending some time trying to get into mentoring some young entrepreneurs at local colleges.
That's super exciting. Oh my gosh, I love it. I hope everyone listening right now goes and checks out Jaime's all the things.
All the things.
I love it so much. I wish we had even more time because I feel like there's so many things that we didn't even talk about. So definitely we'll have you on again. Don't you all worry.
Round 2. Yeah. See you next year.
I love it. Awesome. Well, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thank you so much for hanging out here with us, and we'll talk to you later.
It is offer time. Jaime is absolutely beyond fabulous, and she is offering a complimentary $200 value add. So that's lighting, audio, extra entertainment to any booking. This is crazy, guys. So be sure to connect with her. There is a link in the show notes to reach out to her and let her know you are a listener to the Authentic Entrepreneur podcast, and she will give you all the deets to take that discount, that offer. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Authentic Entrepreneur podcast. I hope in between the words of this episode, you found more of your authentic self. It would mean the world to me if you, 1, like this episode if you learned something new, 2, share this episode with a friend who you think needs to hear this, and lastly, 3, to follow and subscribe to this podcast. I want to hang out with you more. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram, send me a DM, wave hi, whatever floats your boat, all at Sam Hardesty Coaching. That's at Sam Hardesty Coaching on Instagram. And hey, look at you go, learning new things, becoming more self-aware and shit. Absolutely crushing it, my friend. Thank you so much. I love you. And until next time, stay authentic.